One of the quintessential things to do in Whistler in the summer is to ride the Peak to Peak Gondola. And that's what we're in right now. This goes between Blackcomb Mountain and Whistler Mountain. Actually, we're riding it the other way right now, Whistler to Blackcomb. If you want to ride this and you come in the summer, it's just for sightseeing. In the winter, it's typically for snowboarding and skiing, but if you don't snowboard and ski, which, you know what, we don't yet. Spunky Princess, do you ski? No, not yet. And so we're really enjoying just the sightseeing, the hiking, the eating, the food. There is food up here and it has epic views, but if you decide to take it, I'm going to show you in this video what you can see if you take this ride in summer. Now the Peak to Peak Gondola, each one of these cars is pretty big. They can hold 28 people each, and they've even got spots where you can like hold on up here. You know, but I'll tell you, even on a hot day, it was fairly cool in here because they got these little windows that open. And pro tip, if you're trying to take pictures without reflection, put your camera right up here. Now, two of the gondolas are glass bottom gondolas. You can identify them because instead of being red, they're like this purplish kind of color. They've got a spot in the middle where you can look down and see the bottom. It's gonna take 15 minutes roughly if you wanna wait for one of those. First things first, to ride the Peak to Peak Gondola, you gotta get up to one of the mountain peaks to ride it. And first things first, you gotta buy a ticket. You get the tickets down at the base, either at the base of the Blackcomb Gondola or the Whistler Gondola at the day lodges. About 80 bucks is what they were for adults in 2022 when I recorded this video. Now, when you take the lift from the bottom, particularly for us, only the Blackcomb lift was open, but sometimes both lifts are open and you can do it as a round trip. Or we had to go up Blackcomb, from Blackcomb to Whistler, and then back, which was fine too, but just know where you're actually starting so you know where to go to, where to park, etc., etc. Speaking of parking, if you're driving in, there's a whole bunch of big day-use lots in the village of Whistler. You can go to one of these day-use lots. It is pay parking. It was like $15 for all-day parking. You need to remember your license plate to put it in there, though, because that's how you pay. You pay by license plate. After you buy the tickets, then up the mountain, the Blackcomb Gondola took us about 15 minutes. There's a transfer station in the middle. Then in the summer, nobody gets on, nobody gets off. You just keep on going. And then right at the top of the Blackcomb Gondola is the Rendezvous, a two-story restaurant up here that offers hamburgers, fries, those sorts of things. But the bigger restaurant is at the top of Whistler Mountain. There's an area at the top here of Blackcomb where you can just kind of walk around, see some views, or you can do more hiking on the alpine hiking trails. They do close and open seasonally though, so make sure the ones you want to hike are actually open, or just ask the guides and see which ones are open when you go. Then you can actually get on the Peak to Peak Gondola from here. It's a 10-minute ride. It goes down in this valley, up in this valley. 28 people fit on these gondolas, so they are pretty big. And then arriving over on the Whistler side, this is where the big Roundhouse restaurant is. There's a really neat bar that has, I think, the best views of all of the areas here. Just right below it with this rock sculpture, that's where you want to get your selfie of the mountaintop. How much does the food cost up here? Like hamburger, fries, and a drink is $20-some. 2 beers, $25. So it's not cheap, but you know what? It was fast, quick, and the hamburger, I should say, was actually fairly decent, and the Spunky Princess really liked her hot dogs. We did some hiking around here, but it was actually quite warm, so if you come in the summer, be aware, it can totally be shorts and t-shirts weather, even though it's in the mountains. So there's a lot of hiking trails in Whistler. You can access some from the bottom and more from the top, but one thing that's a bit disappointing is that if you come at the end of the summer, a lot of them are closed, so make sure to check when you're coming that the trails you want to hike are actually open, because a lot of them are up at the tippy top and the lifts aren't running to go up there here at the end of summer. And one of the signature attractions to do here is this like cloud raker bridge, but there's a chairlift you have to take to get up there, so people only over a certain age and tall enough can take that chairlift, and that one isn't often open. Well, for us, it wasn't open the whole season, so be aware of that if you want to cross that bridge. And when we came here in October, there was still snow on the mountain. Not from this year. This snow is from last year. Well, if you haven't had enough gondolas after that one in Whistler and you want to go more mountains because the Spunky Princess does, well, then you can go on the Sea to Sky Gondola just south of Squamish. This one, it's a little bit cheaper than the one in Whistler. Parking down here is free, and the views of this are really cool too. Well, if you enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely enjoy our video all about everything you need to know when you come to Whistler. You can click right here to watch it. You'll also find a link in the description below, and as usual, we won't say goodbye because we are gonna see you in the next video. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.